Hello, welcome to another video on the channel. The Hospital Morgue. Hello, my name is Naten, and the story I'm going to tell you today happened to me about 5 years ago. I was unemployed, I had a wife and children to support. I started looking around for job openings. Until a friend of mine told me that he had found one, but he also warned me that the job was difficult. That made me curious because I didn't understand what he meant by difficult. The job was to be a watchman in a hospital. I had never worked as a lookout before, and people knew I was a novice. As soon as I got there, I met my coworkers, and the superior of the place appeared to give me a brief course, and then I went to my role. The hospital was big. It had an emergency room too. We walked to the back of the hospital, and when we got there, the place was parking. There weren't many cars there, just a few. It was pretty empty and pretty dark too. The hospital had another parking lot where there was more movement of people. The place itself was chilling, deserted, and dark. My superior then took me to a small cabin that was at the exit of the parking lot with a side view to the courtyard and back of the hospital. In this cabin, there was a small computer with access to security cameras, an office chair, a table, a minibar, and a drinking fountain. The cabin had a bathroom too. Opposite it was a room, and mortuary was written on it. I hadn't noticed that room over there. I noticed it after my superior left. I stared at that spot and asked the staff about it on the radio. They laughed at me and said, "That's right, that's one of the hospital's morgues. But it is not used much." So that was it. The place was sinister, and it turned out to be macabre. I was scared, of course, but I couldn't do much. That was my job. The first night was peaceful and quiet. I saw almost no one there except for a hospital worker who came to get a car. I spent the whole night staring at that mortuary door, and when I went to see it, the day had broken and it was the end of my job. On the next shift, I saw a body arriving at the morgue and the nurses pushing it. As soon as they opened the door, I was curious to look and saw that it was dark, and they turned on the lights. They entered and closed the door. There were 2 women. Soon they went out and turned off the light. Now I knew that if the light was on, someone was there. The strange thing was, when that same night I saw the light turn on and off. I was there on watch all night. I actually saw the light come on and off. I spoke to the people at radio, and they told me to go check the place. At the time I got scared and said I hadn't seen anyone going in there, and they confirmed me to check. When I got closer, I was freezing with fear. I knew there would be no one there, but even so I was very scared because I was completely scared. I pushed open the door and it was pitch black in there. Very cold too. As soon as I entered that place, I had a horrible feeling. I used the flashlight to guide me and turned on the light. When the light came on, the place was empty. There was no one. Only iron drawers and an aluminum table with a strong light in the place. I turned off the light and went back to the cabin, but on the way to the cabin the feeling was horrible. It felt like they were following me. Despite the sinister experience, the rest of the night was peaceful. The next turn, I saw the light come on again, and I didn't even go there to look. I knew there was no one. But this time she did it again and again. I knew this wasn't normal. I didn't even say anything to the radio people. I knew they would laugh at me. When she blinked again, I decided to go there and check. When I got close to the morgue door, I swear I saw it, a woman in hospital clothes, running around the back of the parking lot. I got a tremendous scare and went running there to check. The place was very dark and there was nothing there. I ran back in a hurry to the cabin to check on the cameras, and to my despair, There was nothing there. I thought I was going crazy. I asked my coworkers about this, and they laughed and said they didn't have a week's work for me to get used to what was common there. I swear I tried. For the next few nights it was hell and madness staying in that place. I began to see figures, shadows, laughter, until one day the door to the morgue opened by itself. The light came on and I saw a man standing inside. He was looking at me. It was frightening, despairing. And it got worse night by night. Just before I couldn't take it anymore and quit my job, I got trapped inside the necrotarius. This for me was the last straw. That day the hospital was in chaos, and it was left to me to push a body into that morgue. I was very scared, but I had to do it. When I got inside, I was supposed to leave it near the aluminum table. When the door slammed, the lights flickered, and I saw a lot of people there around me. Some injured, severed, sick, disfigured. I panicked and my blood pressure dropped. When I regained consciousness, I was in the infirmary with my work colleagues asking what had happened. I couldn't say a single word, and I was only able to speak again more than a week after the scare. I never went back to that place or worked as a night watchman again. And principally, I never went into a morgue again. And that was today's video. If you liked it, subscribe to our channel.